Well, here we are again for another session on fear. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's taking the information and processing it and applying it to your life. Last session, we took on a few of them. We're up to about the eighth point, which is we're going to talk about adopting an abundance mindset. You got to be able to adopt an abundance mindset. If not, you'll be stuck in fear. You'll always be looking at lack. The opposite of an abundance mindset is the scarcity mindset. That's a mindset that's always looking at life like the cup is half empty. An abundance mindset looks at life as the cup is half full. A scarcity mindset lives in a way where you always seem to think that there's not enough. And this is where you get hoarding from. People that hoard stuff, they got to keep it for a rainy day. Mind you, the rainy day may never come, and oftentimes it never does come for those that do. And a lot of people end up, having to get rid of all that stuff once the individual passes on. But to live in fear is a scarcity mindset where you're always trying to keep things, around, keep resources around because you're in fear that you'll run out, or maybe finances won't allow you to be able to get more finances or get more of whatever it is. Some women, and I want to say men too, relationships, humans, look at relationships as a scarcity mindset. Like they act so desperate, they're so over the top. They want to rush and be anxious to get into something. They want to rush to the altar, rush to get married. They don't take time to court or learn the individual anymore. They don't become intimate with the individual. They just hurry up and jump in bed. They hurry up and walk down the altar because they feel like this is it. Time is running out. I don't have much time left. You find this normally with women who are, 30s, 40s, they ain't married yet kind of thing. But like I said, a scarcity mindset lives off of anxiety, and that's that chaos, that chronic fear that I was talking about, where the anxiety takes control and takes over your life. You're living in anxiety. You're not living, on your means. You're living based because you're being pushed by something, by this thought, this intellect that it's got to be done. It's got, time is running out kind of thing. Where, like I said, today we're talking about the abundance mindset where you have positive emotions. Fear can't coexist with that. You think about gratitude. You have a gratitude mindset where you're always thankful for something, and that right there, being thankful, allows us to have an abundance mindset because we're thankful for what we have. We're not so much holding on to what we have to where, oh, I better hang on, this might be the last of it, a little bit of it. So acting like that is we're scared. We're just literally trembling with fear because that's all that we have, and we, in our mind, scarcity mindset says that that's all we're ever going to get. But when you're grateful for what you have, an attitude of gratitude, you're grateful for everything that's around you. You're grateful, and when you can't be grateful for something and have gratitude for something and look at lack at the same time. Abundance has to show up. Fear got to disappear because when you're grateful and you have gratitude for something, it just continues to open your mind to an abundance. You know, I'm thankful for the day I woke up. Thank you for seeing another day. Thank you for seeing another year. Thank you for my children. Thank you for, it creates an atmosphere of abundance because our focus is on the abundance, on what we have and not what we lack or what we may lose or whatever. You know, energy flows through that. Energy can't flow through lack because it gets bound up. Energy can flow through gratitude. It can flow through love. It can flow, from one person to another. But if your fear is like you got your hands tied and you're just stuck in one position and you can't move because you got to sit there like a hen in a hen house sitting on that egg, that golden egg, because you don't want nobody to find it. You don't want nobody to take it from you. You can't go nowhere. You can't explore life. You can't do nothing but sit there on that egg, on that nest egg. You got a nest on that egg. You don't know if there may be other eggs somewhere. It's just a closed-in mindset. So, like I said, an abundant mindset is like it unlocks our minds and it stops us from living in fear. You can meditate on positive things. You can visualize positive things. It's empowered in positivity is what it is. So that's how you get out of being afraid, is by focusing on the positive. Anytime you focus on the negative, it's going to create a downward spiral. It's going to close you in and it's going to make you, tremble with fear. But positivity is your toolbox so that you can come out of fear. Um, Another point that we can look at is you got to learn to be fully present. You can't live in the past. Living in the past, you know, strikes a lot of fear for people because triggers trauma or horror stories or things that they don't want to remember, things of regret. you know you got to live in the present. That's the only place you can live. You can't live in yesterday. Yesterday is gone. It's already done. There ain't nothing you can do about whatever happened in yesterday. You can't change it. All you can do is move forward in today. The future. Some people try to live in the future. When I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that, and they build their life around, and they act as if they already have it in the future, and their mindset is like having a checkbook, and you writing checks. There ain't no money in the bank because in the present ain't no money there, but you feel like you got $1 million, so therefore you writing checks left and right until the popo come and make you realize that you don't have $1 million or whatever. So we can't live in the future. All we can do is live today. We got to be fully present to be able to manifest any and everything that we want. We got to be present in the moment. The only power that we have is now. Our power is in right now. Anything that you do today in the present right now is all the power that you have, and it's really all the power that you need, because you can't move nothing in tomorrow right now. You can make some, attempts to do some certain things, make some decisions that would move things into tomorrow, but you don't know what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow may not bring the same choices or same circumstances that you have today. So, you make decisions based on something, counting your chickens before your egg, counting your eggs before they hatch or whatever. You may be making some decisions that's not feasible for you, or that may not be in your best interest. So like somebody counting their chickens, counting their eggs. They think they're gonna make X amount of dollars and when payday comes, it's not that. Or when payday comes, it's more than that. You may have a bonus or something on there, or maybe you don't have a job anymore, so there is no payday. So the only place we can live is in the now. When you get your now to flowing, where you can operate and learn to maneuver in your now, then that's when you'll be successful. That's where you can harness your power, is in the now. Make your decisions in your presence. Like I said, The Power of Now. That's a book that Eckhart Tolle wrote. It's a good read. I suggest you read it and learn that your power is now. You can't live in no other place but right now. You can't redeem the time. Only God can redeem the time. You can't go into the future. You don't even know if you're going to be breathing in the future. Nobody's promised tomorrow. So we only have what we have in this moment. We got to be present. We got to get our mind and our thoughts to think about what and make them applicable to right now. So, if when we're applicable to right now, we can transition, we can make changes, we can do, and we can do what we need to do. But if we're living in the future or we stuck in the past, we're stagnant. We can't move, we can't do anything. We're living in fear. You can't even sit in faith with that. You can't walk in faith by if you're not present. I know faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. How do you have faith in the present? You have faith in the present by believing that you have it. That's the evidence. But you operate from this point. It changes your mindset and your thoughts so that you'll be able to achieve it because your mind is thinking and because your choices and decisions that you make as you're thinking towards the faith that you have, you'll make decisions that will come make everything come about. You'll It's hard to explain. You'll make decisions that will have your life go in a certain direction, that it manifests, that at the end result, like I've been in school for 14 years to get to this point, to get to be my intern number and be a licensed clinical professional counselor intern. And all of my decisions in all those 14 years have led me to this point because I've always thought that that's what I was going to be. That has been the desire of my heart. So, in faith, I have walked in the way so that it could be manifested. And I can explain it. Being present, I've always thought or known in my spirit that I was a therapist. The evidence was people come and ask me different questions. They get my advice. I'd be able to give them what I knew, without the credentials or whatever. Just talking, and, help solving people's problems or whatever. So I started the journey to get the credentials, to get the paper, and finally got the paper to where I'm able to make a lifestyle out of this and be paid for it. So the evidence was already there. I just had to go through the motions to finish the paperwork. So what I'm saying is being fully present is each moment that I was in, knowing that the faith that I have and what I wanted to do, it never left me. And because it never left me, my thoughts caused me to go in a direction that it manifested. So, like I say, be present. Don't regret things of the past. You can't live in regret. You can't live in, things or how people done you wrong or rejection or whatever. Some people take you for granted. Some people have done me wrong to where it shouldn't took nobody 14 years to get here. But it took me 14 years to get here because I've had different things happen to me or, certain things that weren't in my best interest. I made decisions and I didn't stop there. I got up, dust myself off, and kept going. So when you're being present, sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes you're going to make some choices that are really not in your best interest. Sometimes you're going to listen to people that take you for granted and they really don't have your best interest in heart, but they trying to come up on the back of you. So be present. Just got to remain present. And when being present, you have a sense of discernment. You can tell when people's using you. You can tell when people, are team with you, or they just doing using you to build up their own kingdom or whatever. So be present. Don't check out. Just and surely don't give benefit of the doubt and just lend your power over to somebody else, because nobody has your best interest at heart but you. So remain present, and when you remain present, you remain focused and you have that discernment. And when you do that, you can, like I say, your antennas will go up when people are doing you wrong, when humans, I want to say, are doing you wrong, or when you're going down a path that is not beneficial to you but may be beneficial to somebody else, and it may be cause you to have a setback or whatever. We live and we learn. So, and I have learned a lot on this journey. So therefore, I believe I think positive, all to the good, so that the things that I have learned on this journey, I'm able to teach others. So hopefully they listen and they don't have to go down the same path that I went through. So, like I said, being fully present. The last point of our session on fear of our series is knowing that failure is inevitable. It's inevitable. Nobody's perfect. We're striving to perfection. But even perfectionists know that, it's inevitable that they're going to fail. And being a perfectionist will cause you to sit there in fear too, because you're trying to get everything perfect when nobody is perfect. No human is perfect. None on the face of this earth is perfect. But we sit there and we try to go over things over and over and over, trying to make it just perfect, but because we're too afraid to move forward. We're too afraid to accept whatever it is and just move forward. We say we want to make things perfect, but we know in our mind that nothing can be perfect, because when we think that it's perfect and we fit things there and we look at it, we always can think that it can be better. So it never gets finished when we think like a perfectionist. And like I said, that's set in fear, is because you feel like maybe you won't be accepted, or maybe it'll be rejected. You're afraid that it's gonna fail the person, or whatever event or innuendo that you have, attained in your mind, that it's not gonna make the mark or whatever. So that's what perfectionism does. Is it sits in fear because it keeps you from moving forward. It's a hindrance or whatever. So we're gonna fail. We gotta accept it. We're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna be rejected. We're gonna reject. So we just gotta know that it's a part of the process. And when we know that, it's easier, to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and continue on another path, or maybe change the path that we're on a little bit, do something different. All is not lost, maybe, but we can adjust our strategy and our approach in what we're doing. So when we learn to stop living in fear, we decide that our dreams are more able to come true. We put our dreams as important as everything else in our life. I was asking some people the other day, where did your dreams go? Whatever happened to them? You remember the dreams that you had when you were a little young boy, or a little young girl? Whatever happened to them? And some people remembered them, and some people said life happened or whatever. But why doesn't that? I mean, if the dreams that we had were reachable and attainable, and if they were realistic dreams, then why didn't we stay on the point? Why didn't we stay on the path to achieve them? A lot of people just don't. They fall off. There are some people that are jealous of those that do. 14 years to get here, to be a therapist. It shouldn't have took 14 years, like I said before. But because I had to discern some things and I had to go through some things, or let's just say I went through some things, trusting this person or trusting that person, not seeking it out or researching for myself or whatever in some instances, believing in others when basically they really didn't believe in me. They were just trying to be a hindering block to me. But finally I made it. Some people go through stuff like that and they just give up. Because like I say again, it shouldn't have took 14 years. It didn't take 14 years of school to be a therapist. But going through my own issues, out of the heart flows the issues of life. Going through my own things and the traumas and the things that was in my heart. It took me 14 years to get here. And I'm not going to harp on the fact that it took me 14 years to get here. I'm going to celebrate being positive. I'm going to celebrate the fact that after 14 years, I'm here. A lot of us stay stuck in fear because we harbor on the fact of how long it took, and to the point we can't even enjoy the fact that we made it, that we got to the point, or the dream was accomplished, or the thing was manifested in our life. So we got to stop celebrating failure. We got to stop, reminiscing over our failures. We got to use our failures and our past like rearview mirrors. We just glance at them. Because if we look in the rearview mirror too long, we'll run into something. We'll crash. We'll destroy. We'll wreck. So, like I say, look at it. Just take a glance. Learn from what you see in that rearview mirror. Learn, maybe there's a car or something coming up behind you too close or whatever. Maybe you see something off to the side in the rearview mirror, or maybe something you forgot or whatever. But like I say, use your past and your failures and as your trauma even as rearview mirror. Just reflect on it just a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna keep these short and sweet. This is the last of our series on fear. We began with camouflage faith, where we say we got faith, but really we're sitting in fear. Because sitting around waiting on the universe or God or some higher being to fall in line and to bless you and to do something, when all you got to do is get up and do for yourself, that's sitting in fear. That's making excuses, and we already went through making excuses. So that's it for this session. Think about having an abundance mindset, being grateful, have an attitude of gratitude. Think about being present, being fully present in the moment, not just, distracted, focus. You got to be present. Some people run through life busybody and they're not even present in the moment. Be present in the moment. And our last point is know that failure is inevitable. There ain't nothing we can do about it. We're going to fail. The point is not to stay there. We're going to get kicked. We're going to get knocked down sometimes. But we got to roll up, dust ourselves off, and keep it pushing. Until the next time, be intentional.